Okay, before I begin this video, can I ask you to do a couple of things? One being, can you consider the things that I'm saying here, do your own research, and then consider making your own videos like this one? Because I think this is kind of important, and I think this is one of those things that's really going to hurt in the future, and you'll see what I'm talking about shortly. And the other thing is, could you share this video with other people? Mostly in other knife groups, because this is something that I don't really see many people talking about, and as knife collectors, as knife enthusiasts, as knife users, as workmen who use knives, this is something that should concern us all, every single last one of us in the UK that uses knives. What am I talking about? Well, most of us is already aware that in the UK we've got some really crappy knife laws that's really restrictive, and unreasonably so in my view, and you probably agree with me if you're a knife collector or knife user yourself. As you'll know, we're not allowed to carry any pocket knife that has a locking blade and or has a cutting edge of above 3 inches. You can only carry a sub 3 inch non-locking pocket knife. Now most other knives you'll know are legal to own at home, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about knives as a whole. I'm including every single kind of knife in this video. Now, these knives here are just for the visuals. Something to look at while I'm explaining this. The regulations are only going to tighten. Knife laws are only going to get stricter and stricter and stricter until it's damn near impossible for most of us to collect knives, to the point where we're going to have to give up collecting, to the point where we're going to have to sell our collection on to someone who can legally own it, because the laws are going to be that tight, or we're forced to destroy our own collections or have them confiscated by the police and possibly face jail time. Now, I'm not talking about knives like butterfly knives and switchblades and all the rest. I'm talking about the kind of knife that's right in front of you. The kind of knife that you might have in your pocket right now. The kind of knife that you might already have in your own cabinet or sitting on your own wall, or the type of knife you might take camping or to work, or your EDC knife or your Swiss Army knife or whatever. All knives in Britain are under threat. What am I talking about? Well, the most known thing is the home delivery of knives, which are going to be stopped under the Offensive Weapons Bill, which is actually now an act. It's now the Offensive Weapons Act, so it's just a matter of time now before that's done. They want to further ban flipper knives, I believe. They may ban one-handed opening knives, although that's not in any proposal that I've seen. They may completely ban carrying a small pocket knife like a Swiss Army knife. We may see a ban on, well, you name it, they'll probably ban it, honestly. But not only that, I've seen people, including some politicians, suggest that we have things like knife registers. I mean, we've already got it in Scotland. You already have to sign your name and address on a knife book register. Worse still though, there's politicians actually suggesting that we have a microchip tracker in every single handle of every single knife, of which there is God knows how many hundreds of millions in the UK. Now, I think he was proposing that just for new knives, but that's just, my God, is that insane. Not only that, there's a company that has developed some sort of, basically a serial number for knives. That's actually a thing. I've already done a video on that. It's like a little QR code, like what you get for a phone. You scan it, it tells you information on the manufacturer of the knife, this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 who bought it. What else? We've also got people and politicians just flat out saying we should ban all pointy knives. They're talking about blunting them so they can't cut. They're talking about rounding off the tips so they can't penetrate or pierce. Or what's the point in that then? They're just completely destroying all functionality of a knife. Look, knives aren't just weapons. I wish people would understand that they're also tools. Now, all these knives in front of you, maybe they've got different designs in mind by the manufacturer, but what I decide to do with them is a completely different thing. Most knife crime is committed using kitchen knives. I don't know how many times I've got to say that. These knives in front of you never harmed anyone. Why? Because they've sat in my house their whole life, basically. But that's under threat. We may be banned from collecting knives, and I truly believe that that's something the government actually wants. We may be banned from carrying our favourite pocket knife, or Swiss Army knife, our EDC knife. We may be banned from owning military style knives, or hunting knives, or flashy, fast one-handed opening knives like this. By the way, no, it's not a flick knife. It just, you can open it quick, but there's no spring in that. Hell, maybe even multi-tools. Knife ownership in the UK is under threat, full stop. Now, that's a large reason why I actually run this channel. Is not because it's not just to do knife reviews and things like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love doing that. I love getting individual knives, trying them out myself, telling you what I think of them, carrying them, collecting them. I absolutely love doing that, and I love sharing it here on the channel. But for me, a large reason is I want to try and get the laws changed. I want things to be fairer. Now, no, I don't want people to get hurt with knives. I think it's absolutely terrible when someone uses a knife to harm someone else. But you know what? Knives are thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. They're one of man's oldest tools. You can't, I mean, you can try and completely ban them, but my God, there's so many other things that you could use to hurt someone. I've been through it time and time again. Let's just do something about it. I mean, we could sit quietly with our collections and just do nothing, like most people seem to be doing. I mean, truthfully, I don't know what we can do, but hell, at least I'm here talking about it as something rather than nothing. I mean, at least with shooting, they've got their shooting organisations like BASC and Firearms UK that are actually trying to do something. In fact, to be honest, it's just Firearms UK. No one really else seems to care. There's nothing like that for knives, though. There's no one looking out for knives. There's no one looking out for the little guy, the knife collector, or anything like that. And by the way, anyone can be a knife collector. Doesn't matter who you are or what your background is. I see nothing wrong with anyone collecting knives. I don't care how old you are, what colour your skin is, who you like, what you do, your gender, whatever. I don't care how you identify as. Everyone can be a knife collector, and everyone is a knife user in some way or another. Whether you're a knife collector like me, you're a chef, just some guy using your kitchen knives to make dinner, whatever. We all use knives at the end of the day, and honestly, one isn't really any more dangerous than the other. At the end of the day, they're all a sharp, pointy piece of metal, and that's all they are, is a sharp, pointy piece of metal. I really hope that you'll think about what I'm saying here, and I strongly encourage you to speak out and to try and educate people. Do it responsibly, though. I'm 110% for responsible knife use and ownership. Now, preferably, it would be nice to do it legally. But some people have spent a lot of money on their knives, and I think it is very unfair and very wrong if people are forced to give up that hobby because of the government. Hell, some people's livelihoods depend on it. I mean, look at all the knife makers. There are quite a few knife makers in this country. People make knives at home, in their workshop, in their garage, in the shed, for a living. That puts money on the table. Making these things puts money on the table for people. That's another thing you should consider. Knife laws also negatively impact knife dealers. Blades and Bows had to shut down recently because of the proposed new laws. The Offensive Weapons Bill, now the Offensive Weapons Act. That law has destroyed a business. A legal, responsible business is gone because of the law. Think about that. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching.